to his inability to play after early August. The issue was known during negotiations between the Red Sox and the Dodgers about the deal that sent Mookie Betts and Price and Connor Wong. I will tell you, he might not be ready opening day. Back, oblique injury, the whole thing. They knew of it, okay? That could explain their decision. I thought that Kevin Pillar was acquired to trade Bradley, but it's because of Verdugo. Once he's healthy, he figures to be an everyday player, hitting around 290. But here's the thing that bugs me a lot, and you can go look it up. I'm not going into detail, okay? We are vilifying the Houston Astros for cheating. But Boston Red Sox fans are happy to get Alex Verdugo, and he's got a sexual assault hanging over his head. Give me a freaking break. Welcome to the great state of America, okay? Mitch Haniger underwent surgery. His condition, which started off being poo-pooed a little bit, second procedure in 3 weeks after a core surgery. His timetable, he'll be significant. He's undraftable. Let's put it that way. He went from a player who, all right, let's draft him, let's take him, let's pick him up, and let's see how far we can go with him, to a player that you just can't draft. Simple. You can't draft Mitch Haniger. His return to the Mariners for the 2020 season has been delayed. Another surgery. And he was, you remember when he was on Arizona? All right, people, he was okay. Some people called him a sleeper. But another surgery, and he turned out to be the Mariners' best player. So, who's the guy who you should take? Somebody who, we got this stupid draft going on, okay? It's an auction. We got an auction draft that's been going on for 2 weeks. And now I don't have a roster. I'm hoping that somebody outbids me on a player so I could put Kyle Lewis. Kyle Lewis. He will absolutely get more playing time now than we expected at the beginning of the season. Remember when I saw Kyle Lewis in the Arizona Fall League? So impressed. And he came in late. Always has leg injuries. But when I saw him, it was no question about it. This guy, as soon as you see him, he's a star. And then when he did perform, he played pretty well. So Kyle Lewis is the beneficiary now of Mitch Haniger, okay? And don't forget, we're not drafting Miguel Cabrera. Holy cow, have times changed. Miguel Cabrera is still a big player on this team. All right? Look, Matthew Boyd's the front runner for the best pitcher on this team. Who's going to make the All-Star team on Detroit? Is it going to be Matthew Boyd? Is it going to be Miguel Cabrera, who has yet to show up to spring training, but all the indications point to, he never shows up, all right? Spring training on time. But he's in what I have been told by people who may not even have seen him. I don't know where this information, but so, all right, but let's see if I'm right. He is mentally, remember, he got stopped by a cop, and he's got he got some minor off-the-field problems where I kept saying he was done. But he is physically okay. Mentally, he can single-handedly keep his team from losing 100 games with his presence and his production. He can do it. I'm not saying he's going to hit 300 with 35 home runs anymore. But when he is right, he is a difference maker. Even at age 36, he's a very prideful player, and if his health is good, I think this guy is worth stashing, drafting. Last pick in the draft. How many times do I tell you, you want to take a player that's got upside, but if he doesn't work out, you got to drop players during the course of the season. So let that player who you thought was going to be the old Miguel Cabrera, if he doesn't pan out, well, you got nothing to lose. It's a good upside, and you have nothing to lose. You have to drop players when you pick up a player. Are you picking up a player this year? Yes. So draft Miguel Cabrera. Okay? Franchi Cordero. I took him. In the league. I drafted Franchi Cordero. That's right. I live up to what I say. Right, Chris Gallo? That's right. Unbelievable. Yeah, Franchi Cordero. 2020 guy. Okay? 2020 guy. All right. Who's coming? Is anybody? I don't think we have anybody coming up next. All right. Let's keep it going. Now, one of Andrea's favorite players who people don't appreciate. Okay? Robert Perez. I only talk about Robert Perez because nobody does. Nobody talks about him. He was one of the best catchers seasons. And I mean, I'd say George. Who are some good catchers? Oh, no, Toledo. Who are some good Cleveland Indian catchers, right? Who are some good Cleveland Indian catchers? Jim Hegan. He was a catcher. He was on Cleveland, right? Robert Perez, okay? Robert Perez was credited with 30 defensive runs saved. 17 more than any other catcher. 17 more than any other catcher. This is defense. So what am I talking about here? You know, he's going to get plenty of playing time. And he had a good year. He's going to get plenty of playing time. He's not Robert Perez, the scrub. In 118 games, over 990 innings, he did not have one passed ball. Just the fourth catcher since 1930 to catch at least 118 games and not have a pass ball. Are you freaking kidding me? He's going to get... Remember, the most important thing about fantasy baseball is playing time. Playing time. And then offensively, look, he hit... he's getting a chance to start for the first time in 5 big league years. He hit, what did he hit? 239, 240, something like that, with a career high 24 homers, 63 RBIs, but he slumped just like every catcher. I say, remember this adage. Catchers fade in the second half. Remember that. So I don't care who you have. Sanchez, Suarez, I don't care who you catcher. Oh, Sandy Alomar. He was a good catcher too. Right? But, I mean, he set a franchise fielding percentage for catchers. He led catchers with throwing out 20 for 49. Okay? But the offense, he hit 220. He had a sore right ankle. And that required surgery at the end of the year. He had a 3.9 WAR. You know what I think of that, but I got to pass it along. So Robert Perez, very undervalued catcher. We don't like to draft catchers, but here's a guy that you really aren't going to have to spend a lot of value on in the snake or the auction. There you go. How you doing there, King Hap? I forgot King Hap's name yesterday, but I'm going to mention his name every 2 minutes now. King Hap. Yeah, Pudge. There you go. Pudge Rodriguez. Nice going. King Hap. King Hap. King Hap. You'll hear King Hap next week. We're going to figure out exactly when. King Hap, and where's your partner? Now I forgot your partner's name. Oh, Tico. Come on. Taco. Taco. Where's Taco? I feel like Donald Trump now. I know you're out there, Taco. Where's Taco? Where's Taco? All right. Don't forget Sunday morning, 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Andy and I are going to go wacko. We got Craig Mish coming on. Holy cow. We got Craig Mish coming on Sunday. Okay, so that's Robert Perez. I promised a couple of sleeper pitchers. Dylan Bundy. Now, Dylan Bundy, for the first time going to Arizona, he's with the Angels. Anybody know that? He was with the Orioles as a 19-year-old. You got to change the scenery, a chance at a playoff spot. I'll tell you something. I'm not going to say he's going to be a star, but I think that with a fresh start, he also changed his off-season routine. He barely stopped throwing. He chose to activate his arm once or twice a week in October and November because he comes into camp, as I'm told, with a head start. And so that tells you about his work ethic, his desire. That's the one thing that we don't see in a player. We see their stats, but we don't know what's in their heart. Now we do, okay? Dylan Bundy, don't forget, he was a first-round draft pick. Struggled almost immediately. Only made 2 appearances in, I think it was 2013 or 12. But he had Tommy John soon after. Now is the time. He's got that mid-90s fastball. Well, he had it 1 point. It dropped out to 92, a couple of years ago. He's never finished a full season with an ERA under 4. Last year he had a 4.79. Gave up 29 home runs over 30 starts for a team that ended with 108 losses. Nobody is drafting Dylan Bundy. Draft him. He's another guy that you take at the end that you can drop. Okay? He increased his ground ball rate to 42%. That was about a 6 or 7 percentage point increase. His fly ball rate dropped. Okay? So, look, I'm telling you, he's trying to, he's become a little different pitcher. A little declining velocity, but better mixing his pitches. Okay? And which is what? Where'd you hear that before? That's what Zach Wheeler is doing. He's mixing his pitches different this year, according to the people that are coaching him in Philadelphia. Okay? So the breaking pitch by Bundy has got a 48% whiff rate and a 152 batting average against. He has got a great breaking ball. That's one guy that I want you to pay attention to. Who's the next guy? Corbin Burns. Okay? He's 25. 2019 became a nightmare. Okay? A nightmare. Everything went wrong for this guy. Everything went wrong for Corbin Burns. They had high hopes in 2018. He came in from the minors, pitched in the bullpen, had tremendous success in the bullpen. He had 30 appearances. He went 7-0 with a 2.81 ERA. He held opponents to a 199 batting average. He had 35 strikeouts. I'm talking about Corbin Burns. Not Kookie Burns, not George Burns. Corbin Burns. Now, who knows Kookie and George in the chat? Only Toledo, maybe White Sox Al, and of course, George. Okay? So, the 2 pitchers that I'm saying, look, Burns was awful last year. Confidence was at an all-time low. So he worked over on 2 things in the offseason. He worked on his mental condition to get his confidence back with professionals. All right, let's see what happens. I've done that. Hasn't worked. And then he's also worked on his ability to pitch. Changing a couple of things, making adjustments. So, once again, my 2... so you got 3 people to draft at the end. You got Miguel Cabrera, you got Corbin Burns. This is the end game, okay? Who out there likes the end game? Andy? Never mind. Anyway, so that's what we got, okay? So don't forget, here's the big one, the draft guide. I will tell you that the draft guide is being taken by more people than we expected. Michael, etching your kitchen table. The itch is here. There you go. Now we're ready to rock and roll. Let's start this podcast over again. Nice to see you, okay? The itch. Jordan Montgomery, another one. That's right. I have Jordan Montgomery, going to be the Yankees' 5th starter. I will definitely agree with that. As a matter of fact, we've talked about Jordan Montgomery. in that role. Donkey Okie has joined us. Good morning to the Mr. Okie. That's the donkey without the teeth. Okay, now,